We all receive information on our physician's allergic asthma prescribing habits. But what if we could know the inside story and have insight into how a customer thinks when choosing a biologic therapy? How might that shape a clinical specialist's approach to discussing Xolair for appropriate patients with allergic asthma? Let's imagine we could be flies on the wall and listen in on Dr. Andrew Bradley, an allergist in a suburban group practice. First, we'll hear our fictitious Dr. Bradley discussing a patient with a senior colleague, Dr. Monroe. Then, clinical specialist Sally Gordon will demonstrate how to conduct a targeted discussion of Xolair for appropriate patients with allergic asthma that's both competitive and compliant.
Hi, Dr. Monroe. I have a patient I'd like to discuss and get your take on.
Sure, Andrew. Tell me about your patient.
He's a 20-year-old male who's had asthma since he was 3. His pediatrician first referred him to an allergist at age 7, and he came to our practice 2 years ago when he started his studies at Nextown University. The thing is, he continues to have exacerbations 2 or 3 times a year, despite reducing his exposure and sensitivity to triggering allergens, plus my attempts to optimize his therapy. He started subcutaneous allergen immunotherapy at 14. I've got him on a high dose of ICS currently, up from a medium dose of ICS with an LABA, which was an improvement over the ICS with a LTRA I tried. But he's still not controlled.
Could there be a compliance issue? With a young adult patient, sometimes they feel good for a while and they stop taking their meds.
I thought that might be it, but he insists he is close to 100% compliant. He started treatment when he was young and says that he's been used to a daily regimen since he was old enough to notice.
So, what are you considering?
That's what I wanted to talk with you about. I think I'd like to try Nucala.
Because?
Well, for one thing, I'd like to gain some experience with it. Everything else besides the anti-IL-5 agents has been around for a long time, so perhaps they may be better for a patient like this one. He's young and pretty healthy overall, and I need to get a handle on these exacerbations to keep it that way.
So is he eosinophilic?
His eosinophil count is generally above 300 cells per microliter.
Of course, that doesn't preclude going the anti-IgE route, an option that will still be open to you if this approach doesn't yield the results you want. Seems like sound thinking to me, Andrew.
Thanks, Dr. Monroe. I have another week to mull it over before the patient comes in.
Stanley reflects while he's tinkering in his workshop.
Today is a good day. I can't remember the last time I spent the entire afternoon of quality time with my power tools and my grandson Caleb. That boy is about as tall and as sweet as they come, a real gentle giant. Not 2 hours ago, I was standing by while he tried to make a bench to sit on in the backyard. I was talking to him about how important it is to measure twice and cut once. And just like that, he takes off his goggles, turns around and starts hugging me. Says, "I love you, Grandpa." And you know what? I love him too. So I hug him back and tell him so. Can you imagine that? 14 years old and he still wants to hug his grandpa. Well, his parents are doing something right. See, measure twice and cut once. That fit just right. With any luck, I'll finish the table this week and Caleb can work on another bench. I'll bet they told him that the cancer spread to my brain, even though I asked them not to. First Lorraine tells the kids, then they tell Caleb. It's like they don't even care what I say anymore. I should be angry, but that saps all my energy. And I'm going to need every little bit that I have if I'm going to try to keep it all going. I'll finish the table this week, and then I'll see Dr. Castillo on Monday. Whatever I have to do to stay longer, and maybe see what becomes of this big sweet boy, I'm game.
Elizabeth conveys her thoughts in her audio diary.
It's finally happened, Ellie. You two have gone digital. Well, Not really. But I do like this dictation app. It makes me feel like I'm talking to you on the phone. Then later I can edit the text, print it out, and add it to your analog pages. That's assuming I have the energy to do that. In truth, I'm not feeling up to much these days. I'm not complaining, Ellie. Even now. I've had a very good run. With Bob's help, I was able to keep up at work until just a month ago. Hell, Ellie. I had all my direct reports helping me to circle the wagons. By sheer dint of will, we all acted as if everything was fine. And it was fine. I might have cancer, but I still know what needs to be done, who should do it, and how. Officially, I'm just on a leave of absence. But now, even I don't believe I'll ever return. The way I feel now, I think it's time for me to start saying my goodbyes all around. I'm starting with you, Ellie. You've been there almost from the beginning, since I was old enough to write in a diary. And more than once, you truly saved my life. Not this time, though. Bob thinks my niece might want to read through your pages someday, but you've always been mine alone, so I think you should come with me. Look, Ellie, it's possible that I'm bowing out prematurely. Dr. Chu seems to think there's more she can do, and Bob is all excited about it. But I've lost another 10 pounds. When they said, you can never be too rich or too thin, they hadn't seen what faces me in the mirror these days. The thing is, what scares me more than the prospect of dying is the idea that I might disappear without a sound or a trace. So I'm going to make a project of goodbye. I'm going to find ways to say goodbye to the things and people I love, even if I get to say hello again.
Okay, Sally, your good luck birth bag is in the trunk. Now let's get you in the car.
Ugh. Good thing Ella still had it. I never thought I'd need it again when I gave it away to her.
I know. I still can't believe we're having another baby after 10 years. And I can't believe how excited I am about it. Our first little girl. Best accident ever. Well, I guess this is it.
It's so different to be giving birth on a schedule. Even the word induction makes it sound so orderly and scientific. I almost miss the panic. Are you sure we should be leaving Alex home alone with Andy?
Sally, he's 13 years old. Andy is his best friend, and let's not forget that Andy's mother is right next door. He can call us whenever he wants. Pretty soon we'll be counting on him to help us with little Lizzie.
You're right, of course. I guess I'm just trying to distract myself from thinking about what happens when we get to the hospital.
Don't worry, sweetheart. Everything's going to be fine.
I guess so. It's just that I'm so much older this time, and let's face it, Martin, a lot thicker around the middle. And I don't know much about this drug they're going to give me to get the labor going. What was the name of it?
Cervidil, remember? Dr. Vega showed us those pictures of it in his office. Honey, you're strong and you're beautiful, and you've got the best help available. That's why we chose Dr. Vega in the first place, remember? He's got the best reputation around, especially among older mothers, and he knows what he's doing. Do you remember our conversation about the Cervidil?
Yes, I remember. Sort of. It's different when you're actually on your way to the hospital.
That's why you need me here. I always know just what to say. And I remember everything. It was Tuesday afternoon at 3:45. You had just come from volunteering at Alex's school. We'd completed the exam, wiped the sonogram jelly off your stomach, and pulled ourselves together. We were sitting in Dr. Vega's office when he came in and said...
Dr. Wen, Dr. Stoddard from Mainline Primary Care left you a voicemail while you were with the patient.
Thanks.
To hear your messages, press 1.
Hi, Rita. Thanks for your call. I guess we're playing phone tag. Yes, I agree that we should keep things as simple as we can for her, at least in first line. With her comorbidities, adding CDK4/6 side effects is risky. And like you, I'm not sure she can manage with the monitoring or a complicated regimen. I'm no oncologist, but if you don't consider her to be at high risk, your choice of letrozole or fulvestrant sounds fine to me, especially since you think it will give her a good quality of life. As you said, maybe we can think about one of the CDK4/6s down the road. I know she's in good hands.
Welcome to your audio case. Today we will present you with the case of Dr. Andy Emerson, Dr. Jay Smart, and practice manager Patricia Brown. Please listen carefully to the background information on Dr. Emerson, Dr. Smart, and Patricia Brown, and for your next steps in this workshop. If at any time you would like to listen again to this recording or part of it, select the back or play button. Now to the case.
Dr. Andy Emerson is an endocrinologist in a 10-member group specialty practice in New York. Dr. Emerson has been an endocrinologist for 20 years and a partner in this particular practice for 10 years. The owner of the practice is Dr. Jay Smart, who is semi-retired and sees patients just 1 day per week. Dr. Emerson treats both adult and pediatric patients with endocrinology disorders, including those related to growth hormone deficiency. Patricia Brown, the practice manager, has been running the practice for 15 years. Dr. Emerson and Dr. Smart, prior to Dr. Smart's semi-retirement last year, engaged in case reviews and made decisions together. Dr. Emerson prefers to gather information from others before making a final decision on a diagnosis and determining which product to prescribe. Dr. Emerson has told you that he feels a little strange about patients coming to him with information from WebMD and product websites and telling him which product they want. He mentioned that Dr. Smart and he can make better decisions together based on their decades of experience. While he appreciates the patient being engaged in the discussion, it makes him uncomfortable yielding to them for the final decision. Doctors Emerson and Smart have a history of prescribing both Nutropin and Norditropin, but not exclusive of the other growth hormone products. You wonder if they are cycling through the products.
Now, discuss with your team which HBDI type Dr. Emerson might be, what probing questions you have for Dr. Emerson and Patricia, and what materials, messages, strategies, and tactics you might employ to encourage Dr. Emerson to provide patients with a choice for their growth hormone treatment. After you discuss your approach, note your answers on the workboard provided in preparation for a share-out.